Greetings, fellow cultivators. Welcome to Audio Nova. Remember to like and subscribe to support the journey. Today, we're diving into the story of what's the point of cultivating immortality if you don't have money. At the same time, below the apartment building, at the intersection in the distance, Xiong and the others were speeding towards the building. Humph, Xiong thought to himself, the truck is just for hitting people. If we really need to travel, we have a top-notch courier and two top-notch deliverymen. Their speed and carrying capacity are both amazing. At this moment, Xiong and two other construction site believers were being carried on the backs of two deliverymen believers and one courier believer respectively, their bodies leaving a series of after images as they quickly bypassed the traffic. Seeing Shan's constant urging, Xiong replied, "Hold on, we're here." Inside the apartment, Shan listened to the other party's unwilling sigh, and watched the other party's figure finally leave, feeling a slight relief in his heart. Then, seeing the message from Xiong saying they had arrived, he felt much more at ease, finally safe. A moment later, Shan looked at Xiong walking in from outside the door, feeling happy in his heart, and immediately opened the interlayer and rushed over. "You finally made it, kid." But when he saw the other party's face turn around, Shan suddenly felt a trace of something was wrong. Why is this guy's face a little stiff? This guy seems to be not Xiong. Shan looked at the other party's pants, and suddenly realized, damn it, isn't this the guy from just now? He changed his face to disguise himself as Xiong. Does this guy know Xiong's information, and even know that Xiong is coming up here? The one who walked into the room at this moment was Xiong, who had used the Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key to change his face according to Xiong's information, disguising himself as Xiong. But in fact, this disguise was very rough. If Shan observed carefully, he would soon be able to recognize that Xiong was not Xiong. However, in his anxiety, Shan didn't notice the problem with Xiong right away. Looking at Xiong walking towards him with a smile, Shan screamed and wanted to retreat. But then Xiong flashed and already had Shan in his hand. "Finally caught you," Fuji laughed and said, "Xiong, quickly use the method I taught you to suppress him. Don't let him move around." Xiong struck out with a palm, slamming it fiercely on the bear doll, violently shaking Shan. According to Fuji, these evil gods were powerful when launching rituals, but their bodies were not strong, otherwise they would not be able to avoid the detection of the righteous gods. This teddy bear may look like just a toy, but physical attacks on it can cause damage to the evil god. Furthermore, because the consciousness is hidden within and has complete perception, the intense shock can disrupt the evil god's consciousness through the evil god's perception. According to Fuji, it's like motion sickness. Looking at Shan, who was unable to move after the shock, Xiong grabbed the black pearl that Fuji had transformed into and pressed it hard on the bear doll's head. Along with a trace of evil god power surging, Fuji had temporarily suppressed the bear doll's consciousness. In an instant, Fuji quickly searched for the ritual power in the other party's body, cheering, "Ha, it's done, Xiong. This guy has been temporarily suppressed by me." One ritual record after another flashed quickly in front of Fuji, and Fuji murmured, "Let me see first what rules he has set for his believers." Just then, a series of sounds of air being torn apart came, as if 6 figures were cutting through the night sky, quickly approaching the location of this room. "By Zhen Yuzi. Why haven't you come down yet? They've already gone up." Xiong didn't have time to read the phone message sent by Zhen. Hearing the increasingly close sound of air being torn apart, he understood that the other party was about to reach the door. Xiong and the 6 others traveled at high speed, rushed into the broken door, and saw that the entire room was full of various things that had been smashed. The bear doll was sitting upright on a chair, with a person kneeling in front of it. From the side, it seemed to be Li Quan. Seeing that the bear doll was intact, Xiong and the 6 others were slightly relieved. However, a question arose in Xiong's heart. Li Quan came back so quickly? Did he pay the fine and bail, and rush over here? Seeing the arrival of the crowd, Li Quan snorted and said, "What are you doing? Why are you so late? Do you know how much the Lord was frightened? As evil god believers, how are you protecting the safety of the evil god? Why don't you kneel down immediately?" At the same time, the bear doll on the sofa shook and let out a cold snort, seemingly dissatisfied with their attitude. Although the evil god believers still had various questions in their hearts, Seeing this, they quickly knelt down in front of the sofa and began to apologize to Huo Shan. Sorry, Master, we are late. Master, we have come at full speed. Master, we will definitely help you take revenge. The more Songzi looked at Li Quan, the more he felt that something was wrong. The more he looked, the more he felt that the other party's appearance was different from Li Quan's. However, Huo Shan mostly directed them remotely, and Songzi rarely saw Li Quan on weekdays, so he didn't recognize the other party right away. So Songzi flashed and directly blocked the exit, then his eyes narrowed and said, "You are not Li Quan." Feeling the gazes of everyone present, Zhang Yu's face changed slightly. With the operation of the Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key, he had transformed into another unfamiliar appearance. Yes, I am not Li Quan. So you revealed your identities as evil god believers. Hearing these words, the faces of the crowd changed drastically, and then they felt a heat wave rolling all over their bodies, as if flames were about to burn out from within. Not good. Songzi exclaimed, "Catch him. Kill him." Unlike Zhang Yu, who was abandoned by Fuji at the beginning, and then suppressed Fuji, these 6 believers of Songzi had always been under Huo Shan's control, and had been completely established with a series of wishes such as not harming Huo Shan, and not revealing the identity of the evil god believers. Looking at the excited appearance of the 6 people, Zhang Yu's mind flashed with the memory of watching Zhu Tianyi burn to death in the unfinished building. At that time, Zhu Tianyi, as an evil god believer, also burned to death because he accidentally revealed the identity of the evil god believer. Later, Zhang Yu asked Fuji about this matter, and then he learned that in order to prevent the righteous gods from tracking them down, many evil gods would actively set such wishes. Once a believer discovers that they have leaked their identity, whether it is actively or passively, it will trigger the backlash of the ritual. And just now, after Fuji inquired about Huo Shan's ritual records, he confirmed this. Looking at the increasingly red skin of the 6 people on the scene, Zhang Yu thought to himself, sure enough, it's a mentally retarded ritual. At the same time, Songzi felt that the ritual power in his body had already started counting down. He roared and charged towards Zhang Yu. Kill him before the complete backlash. Then it doesn't count as leaking the news, and we still have a chance to survive. The other 5 people also changed their expressions drastically, and they all mustered their strength and were about to kill Zhang Yu. At this moment, Songzi plus 5 key refining peak experts, 6 people with desperate, life-threatening violent killing intent swept towards Zhang Yu. The heavy pressure was simply unprecedented for Zhang Yu. The surging power squeezed the atmosphere, as if to boil the air in the room. Palm power, fist power, leg power, 6 great masters, 6 great killing moves simultaneously bombarded Zhang Yu, as if to tear him to pieces in the next moment. But facing such terrifying pressure, Zhang Yu smiled slightly, lunged forward, and grabbed the bear doll on the sofa to block in front of him. Must not harm the evil god. Looking at the bear doll in front of Zhang Yu, the 6 believers were all startled and changed their moves, not daring to bombard forward again. The fierce change of moves under full force made the 6 great masters feel depressed, to the point of vomiting blood, and the energy and mana in their bodies surged. Taking advantage of this moment, Zhang Yu rushed back, his body surging with astral ki, and the black formless cloud astral had completely engulfed everyone. What is this? Feeling that the vision in front of him was completely obscured, Songzi reacted extremely quickly. He thought that this astral ki obscured the vision, and with an angry roar, he waved his palms and scattered the formless cloud astral that looked like black clouds all over the sky. The other 5 people also moved quickly, shattering the astral ki all over the sky like tearing apart clouds and mist. The formless cloud astral that Xiong spent half an hour to clean up was not even able to last for half a second under the joint efforts of these 6 great masters. But just as they scattered the astral ki in the blink of an eye, they heard a bang, and the window on the side had been broken open. Looking at the broken window, a deliveryman believer was the fastest, like a flash of lightning. He had already jumped out first, wanting to catch up with Zhang Yu. The remaining 5 people felt that the ritual power in their bodies was getting hotter and hotter, and they jumped out of the window without hesitation. The height of a few floors was not enough to kill them. At this moment, they only had a belly full of killing intent, and the determination to never give up until Zhang Yu was killed. But when they saw the stool that smashed the window and was falling down, a trace of shock and anger appeared in their eyes. Was it this stool that smashed the window and fell down just now? Not that person jumping down. At the same time, inside the apartment room, Xiong was still hiding in a black shadow, which was the shadow formed by the great sun qi absorbing light. Just now, he first forced the 6 people to change their moves with the bear doll, bought time, then used the great sun qi to cooperate with the formless cloud astral to obscure the 6 people's vision, and then grabbed the still and smashed open the window, and he fell into this shadow. At this moment, Xiong stood in this darkness, as if he had become a shadow in the corner of the room, appearing extremely natural. Xiong listened to the roars and screams coming from outside the window, and sighed, information gap, information gap. After saying that, he picked up the bear doll on the ground and turned around and walked out of the apartment. At the same time, 6 firemen roared and soared into the sky, jumping towards the windows of the apartment, but soon turned into ashes inside and outside the apartment and dissipated into the night sky. A few minutes later, a large number of constables arrived at the scene and sealed off the entire apartment floor. Soon after, in the respectful eyes of many constables, the Songyang City Patrol team arrived at the scene and began to investigate the incident. On the other side, after Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin recovered the surveillance of the abandoned building in the suburbs, the two returned to the apartment and looked at Fuji with anticipation, saying, "Hey, can you improve our potential now?" Listening to Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin's expectant questions, Fuji replied, "It can't be that fast." Feeling their questioning gazes, she quickly explained, "I've been weak for too long, it will take time to completely swallow this guy. Before, I only temporarily suppressed this guy. But it's like ants gnawing on a chicken leg, to completely swallow it. How could it be finished in one meal?" Fuji continued, "You first help me completely swallow this guy, and after I digest his evil god status, that will improve both of your potentials." So, under Fuji's guidance, Zhang Yu once again pressed the black bead that Fuji had transformed into onto the bear doll's head. About an hour later, the bear doll in front of them suddenly shattered, turning into a cloud of ashes and dissipating into the air. "I need to sleep for a day or two to digest him." Fuji only managed to leave a sentence before falling into a deep sleep, unresponsive to Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin's calls. For the next 2 days, the black bead that Fuji had transformed into was like a completely dead object. Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin could only cultivate and earn money while waiting for Fuji to awaken. During this time, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin also paid attention to Song Shu's situation through news and the internet. However, from the news, they could only see the pirated cultivation method incident, and there was no information about evil gods or evil god followers. Bai Zhenjin said nervously, "Your last move caused quite a stir when the 6 cultists were backlashed. Many people around saw them jump down, and their whole bodies were on fire. Will anyone suspect an evil god event? Have the righteous gods already started investigating?" Bai Zhenjin couldn't help but say, "Why don't we go back and check the apartment where that evil god used to live? See if anyone is investigating." Zhang Yu glanced at Bai Zhenjin, thinking that Zhen was too indecisive. It was obvious that she didn't commit crimes often, and immediately made the mistake of a suspect returning to the scene to observe. "What's the point of looking? What's the point of not looking?" Zhang Yu said, "Anyway, we've done everything we can do. If someone really starts investigating, then we can't stop it anyway. Instead of thinking about it, it's better to focus on improving our strength." Jiang Yu clenched his fist, feeling the increasingly surging mana within his body that had already exceeded 90 points. In Kongshu, the stronger you are, the more money you earn, and the more money you have, the safer you are. Fuji's silence continued until the evening of the 3rd day. Accompanied by a groan from the bead, Fuji said with unparalleled pleasure, "So good." Heard her laugh and say, "Today, I reunite my status and ascend to the righteous path of evil gods. In the future, I will definitely recreate my peak and stand at the top of Kongshu." Hearing Fuji's movements, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin, who were originally cultivating in the room, immediately focused their attention. Zhang Yu grabbed the bead and said, "How is it? Can you improve my potential now?" Feeling the Genki spewing from Zhang Yu's palm, Fuji quickly said, don't worry, I'll help you with it now." As he spoke, Zhang Yu felt a cold, evil force surge out from the black bead that Fuji had transformed into, rushing along his arms, shoulders, neck, all the way into his sea of consciousness. The next moment, Zhang Yu felt a stinging pain in his palm. Opening his palm, he saw a transparent symbol forming within it, and as the evil force from the black bead became more and more turbulent, It was constantly turning black at a speed visible to the naked eye. Xiong Yu thought to himself, it's like the symbol that appeared when the feather book first appeared, but it's become more complicated. As the symbol completely turned black, the feather book floated in front of Xiong Yu, and slowly opened. The first page was still the table of contents, and the words prologue on the first line of the table of contents were still clearly visible. But now, the originally blurred line of writing below the prologue began to gradually become clear. Xiong Yu stared intently and murmured in his heart, Chapter 1, Chain Formation Diagram. Then, the feather book moved without wind, and its pages had naturally turned to the chain formation diagram section of Chapter 1, along with Xiong Yu's thoughts. 36 Styles of Body Strengthening, Scarlet Marrow Primal Key, Freehand Combat, Basic High School Swordsmanship, Heavenly Martial Heart Refining Technique. All the cultivation methods that Xiong Yu practiced were listed one by one. Below these listed cultivation methods was a huge black scroll. When Xiong Yu tried to focus his mind on one of the cultivation methods, he found that he could drag these cultivation methods like he did in the prologue of the feather book. So Xiong Yu dragged up the 36 styles of body strengthening and tried to put it into the black scroll below, wanting to see what would happen. As the 36 styles of body strengthening fell into the scroll, this cultivation method immediately turned into a white star and fell into the black scroll, like a star twinkling in the night sky. Under the star formed by the 36 styles of body strengthening, Xiong Yu saw 3 lines of writing. Beginner High School Sacred Body. Advanced High School Sacred Body. Ultimate High School Sacred Body. Xiong Yu was slightly stunned, unable to determine what this meant for a moment. Then he tried dragging different cultivation methods into the night sky, and found that he could drag in a maximum of 10 cultivation methods in total. After each cultivation method turned into a star and hung in the night sky, 3 lines of writing would appear. For example, the beginner, advanced, and ultimate high school sacred body for the 36 styles of body strengthening. Another example is the beginner, advanced, and ultimate martial doubt sacred embryo for the spring and autumn endless meditation. Gradually, Xiong Yu also understood the meaning. The effect of this chain formation diagram is to link different cultivation methods together to form a set effect. Xiong Yu decided to call this situation a cultivation method set. Each cultivation method set requires 6 cultivation methods to make up the first set effect, 8 for the second set effect, and 10 for the third set effect. Like Xiong Yu's 36 styles of body strengthening, basic heart refining method, and basic breathing method, they all displayed the high school sacred body cultivation method set. However, the high school sacred body below the basic heart refining method and basic breathing method was grayed out. Xiong Yu guessed in his heart, is it because I haven't upgraded these to basic cultivation methods much and haven't raised them to level 10? In addition to the high school sacred body cultivation method set, Xiong Yu could make up 3 cultivation methods. He found that the cultivation method set he could make up the most cultivation methods for was called Full Attendance Beggar. The most new small say at 6-9 book bar first release. The cultivation methods included are digging palm, crane claw, sports car legs, and elevator leap. This full attendance beggar doesn't sound like anything good, so forget it. High school sacred body sounds pretty strong, but Xiong Yu thought about it, and still looked more eagerly at the spring and autumn endless meditations, cultivation, method, set, martial Tao sacred embryo. There is also the dragon elephant mountain shattering palm, back dragon flipping mountain hands cultivation, method, set descendants of the dragon race. And the heavenly martial heart refining techniques cultivation, method set heavenly martial battle heart, desolate cow soul suppressing heart technique, crippled cow body sacrificing heart techniques, cultivation, method, set great sage successor. Does the great sage in this great sage successor refer to the desolate cow, great sage, who created the desolate cow, soul, suppressing heart, technique, and crippled cow body, sacrificing heart technique? Well, martial doubt sacred embryo, descendants of the dragon race, heavenly martial battle heart, and great sage successor, these cultivation method sets look powerful at first glance. But what other cultivation methods do these cultivation method sets need? I can't possibly know which cultivation method set it belongs to every time I master a cultivation method, right? Wouldn't it take until the year of the monkey to make up a cultivation method set? Thinking of this, Xiong Yu couldn't help but frown slightly, picked up his phone, and started browsing the cultivation method purchase website. Fuji and Bai Zhenjin had been observing Xiong Yu, after his potential was stimulated. Seeing Zhang Yu's expressions of confusion, excitement, and frowning, the one god, and one person, were both full of doubts. Fuji thought to himself, it's just stimulating his potential. Why does this guy look like he's watching a video, with such rich expression changes? What exactly is his potential? Bai Zhenjin couldn't help but ask, Yuzi, are you okay? I'm fine, I'm very good. Zhang Yu laughed and said, I've never been better. Zhang Yu scanned the cultivation method purchase website on the screen. As he read the introduction of each cultivation method, the cultivation method set of this cultivation method would appear in his mind. He thought to himself, although it's still quite troublesome to find, at least there's a goal. No, I can't just search like finding a needle in a haystack. Zhang Yu looked at the high school sacred body cultivation method set and the 3 basic cultivation methods in it, and directly searched for high school basic cultivation methods in the shopping website. This immediately found several cultivation methods belonging to the high school sacred body. The same is true for other cultivation methods. You should look for similar cultivation methods based on the name and the type of cultivation methods included. Bai Zhenjin and Fuji just watched Zhang Yu smile, frown, and stare at his phone for a full half an hour, before stopping, with lingering interest. Zhang Yu summarized in his heart, alas, not enough money. The cultivation methods needed in the martial Dao sacred embryo cultivation method set are almost all body refining martial arts, like spring and autumn endless meditation, which are expensive. The cultivation methods of descendants of the dragon race and heavenly martial battle heart are not cheap either. As for the great sage successor, Zhang Yu has not found any other cultivation methods belonging to this cultivation method set. After I cultivate the spring and autumn endless meditation to level 10, I will first complete the high school sacred body cultivation method set and see the effect. After having a concept of the chain formation diagram in the first chapter of the Feather Book, and having arranged his next cultivation plan, Zhang Yu raised his head and looked at Bai Zhenjin and said, this guy didn't lie. It really did improve my immortal Dao potential. But how far this potential has been improved needs time to verify. Bai Zhenjin smiled slightly when he heard the words and said expectantly, then it's my turn next, right? Fuji said, the wish ritual is not something that can be done casually. It still needs to be prepared carefully. According to the requirements I will put forward next, buy what you need to buy, and find the place you need to find. Everything must be prepared before it can be done. Bai Zhenjin asked again, by the way, did you find the little vault of that evil god? Fuji said, it's not that easy. Knowing he was no match for us, that guy deleted all the records and data in his head. And even if you did find it, never touch the legacy he left behind. The commotion we caused this time wasn't small, and we've definitely been noticed by many people. The patrol team may have already started investigating this incident, so you must be careful next. As she spoke, a trace of cold, evil god power emerged from Fuji's body, and she said proudly, but after swallowing this guy, I have now recovered to the position of a lower level evil god, which is more than enough to protect you on the first level of Kongshu. Through Fuji's introduction, Zhang Yu learned that evil gods also have a hierarchy, and the key to this hierarchy is the so-called position. Fuji said, from level 1 to level 9, evil gods have 9 levels of position. Only with a higher position level can they invade higher level, divine, power, networks. Like the 36 levels of Kongshu, the higher you go, the higher the network level, and the more difficult it is to invade. But now that I have recovered to the position of a level 1 lower level evil god, it's not a problem to invade the divine power network of the first level of Kongshu. Zhang Yu knew that all the networks in Kongshu were essentially divine power networks, which were channels for the true gods to transmit information and power, but later they were gradually opened to civilian use. Listening to Fuji's words, Zhang Yu asked, then what can you do specifically? Seeming to want Zhang Yu, and Bai Zhenjin, to recognize her usefulness, Fuji began to introduce her power, after recovering to a level 1 evil god, like a salesperson. First of all, of course, I can now perform various rituals. Detection rituals can find out where the cameras are. Shielding rituals can shield the cameras. Anti-surveillance rituals can control the cameras. And Zhang Yu couldn't help but say, are you effing obsessed with cameras? Why are they all about dealing with cameras? That's because you don't understand the industry. Fuji pointed out, The lower the level of Kongshu, the less developed the divine power network. The first level of Kongshu is the least developed of all, so the methods used by the true gods to monitor the first level are also the most primitive and simplest. On the first level, surveillance cameras are the eyes of the true gods, the most important way for them to observe the world and monitor society. If you can avoid all the cameras, it's like being able to avoid the gaze of most of the true gods, then you can be called an invisible person, on the first level. So, among the rituals mastered by level 1 evil gods, those related to cameras are the most numerous. Bai Zhenjin thought of the process of monitoring Song, Zhu, and the others through cameras and asked, then Song, Zhu, and the others didn't seem to use this. Fuji chuckled and said, because even for evil gods, rituals cannot be used infinitely. The number of rituals that each level 1 evil god can maintain is limited. Like my colleague, he had to maintain the wish rituals of 8 believers, and also maintain the shielding ritual of the apartment building to shield the cameras, and also cast a shadow goo to monitor you. He was almost at his limit, so where would he have any balance left for his believers to cast rituals at will? But I'm not like him, buying a bunch of junk stocks. I only have you 2 believers, so I can cast detection rituals on both of you, so that you can always detect the location of the cameras. There is also an anti-detection ritual. After completing this ritual on you, as long as there is no true god in charge, it will allow you to hide some data when your magic power and physical strength are detected. Your recent data is becoming more and more noticeable. This ritual can help you lie low, right? Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin nodded repeatedly upon hearing this. Without anyone behind them, the constantly and rapidly growing physical data had indeed become a major problem for them. Especially after preparing to take the Foundation Establishment Qualification Certificate, excessively high test scores were no longer meaningful to them, but instead, they would easily attract unnecessary covetousness. For example, when Zhang Yu sold seeds, Director Long paid special attention to him. Seeing that Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin were very interested, Fuji finally revealed her true purpose. Then, you just need to prepare the materials and venue for the ritual for me, and we can start at any time. But looking at the materials listed by the other party, Zhang Yu frowned and said, what's with these antiques? It adds up to more than 100,000, right? Does this ritual need such expensive antiques? Fuji was prepared for this and explained, the evil god position is just the threshold for launching rituals and invading the divine power network. Specifically, each launch of the ritual consumes evil god power. Of course, I can steal divine power from the true god's divine power network, little by little every day. It will probably take more than half a year, which is enough to launch these few rituals. Zhang Yu looked at the statues, incense burners, candlesticks, and other things that Fuji had selected into the shopping cart on his mobile phone screen, and frowned, so these antiques can replenish your evil god power. Fuji said, long before the establishment of the Divine Power Network, the gods stood in Kongshu, worshipped by countless people, and received incense and wish power. This incense and wish power is the predecessor of divine power. And in the various objects left over from the old era, you can always find some remaining incense and wish power. By absorbing this incense and wish power, I can replenish evil god power. After speaking, Fuji continued to persuade, your progress will become more and more amazing next, and you need to appropriately hide your strength. And Song Shu's matter may have alarmed the patrol team, and maybe they will monitor you with cameras at any time. What if someone sees something that shouldn't be seen? You have so many secrets, you need the means to hide them the most. It's definitely not a loss to spend more than 100,000 to buy peace of mind. And don't worry about having too many ritual effects on your body, and being checked during the Foundation Establishment exam. During the exam, I can help you temporarily turn off rituals other than the wish ritual. With my technical background, I will do my best to hide you, and I will definitely not be discovered by the true gods. Bai Zhenjin thought for a while and said to Zhang Yu, Yuzi, what this guy said makes sense. This 100,000 can't be saved. All right. Zhang Yu nodded, then let's prepare. Fortunately, after Zhang Yu returned to Songyang, he earned a sum of money by selling seeds and brokerage fees, so he could shop on his mobile phone at this moment. Then Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin began to practice again. Zhang Yu twisted his body, circulated his magic power, and constantly made one movement after another to temper the flesh and blood of his whole body, and accelerate the discharge of waste and toxins from his body. Since returning from Xiong City, Zhang Yu has seized the time to continuously cultivate the spring-autumn endless Zen, this top-level body refining technique. In the past few days, he has not only pushed the level of this technique all the way, feeling the increase in physical strength, but also felt that the original residual pill toxins and drug toxins in his body were being discharged little by little during the cultivation process. After all, in the past few months, in order to pass the Foundation Establishment Qualification Certificate, Zhang Yu completely abandoned his original natural body refining route, frantically taking medicine and injecting medicine, and continuously taking Hunyuan pills. Although this process allowed his cultivation to advance bravely, and his various data to increase repeatedly, it also left a large number of impurities in his body that were difficult to discharge, gradually affecting the metabolic function of his internal organs. Even before the last time he took the Foundation Establishment exam, he felt a pain from his internal organs. But now, through the cultivation of spring-autumn endless Zen, he felt that his flesh and blood were becoming cleaner, and his internal organs gradually had a feeling of lightness and comfort. After finishing another round of spring-autumn endless Zen, Zhang Yu only felt comfortable all over and glanced at Yushu. Spring-autumn endless Zen level 6. After spring-autumn endless Zen is pushed to level 10. I will go to cultivate those high school, basic, techniques, to see what the high school sacred body of that chain technique, map, is all about. In the following days, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjun practiced while preparing the materials and venue for the ritual. Inside Beilong High School on this day, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjun, who had just finished playing with Yu Xing'an and Song Hailong for 2 hours, were walking out. Zhang Yu recalled Yu Xing'an's pale face today and thought to himself, is this guy okay? He shouldn't be working overtime too much and suddenly die, right? At this moment, he saw several people in patrol team uniforms walking in large strides in the corridor of Beilong High School, and the surrounding students stepped aside. Patrol team. Zhang Yu thought of the information he had just inquired about from Yu Xing'an and Song Hailong. The disappearance of Song Zhu, a top student at Beilong High School, did not cause too much of an uproar, only because the inside story seemed to have been suppressed. The students at Beilong High School only knew that Song Zhu had not come to school for the past few days, but they did not know that this top student had died from the backlash of the evil god ritual. Seeing the appearance of the patrol team, Zhang Yu first guessed whether the other party was here to investigate Song Shu's matter. He immediately flashed to the side with Bai Zhenjun, just wanting to avoid attracting the other party's attention as much as possible. But just as the other party passed by him, the leading woman stopped and turned her head to look at Zhang Yu. Huh. Are you Zhang Yu? The other party looked at Zhang Yu and smiled. You are Zhang Pian he. Looking at the beautiful woman who took the initiative to say hello, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjun became nervous. The other party then said, my name is Yunni, and I am the captain of the patrol team. We talked before, don't you remember? Zhang Yu was slightly surprised, only because the other party looked too young and was too different from the image of the patrol team captain he had originally imagined. What Zhang Yu didn't know was that Yunni's family had been patrollers for 10 generations and was a well-known patrol family in Songyang. And Yunni, as the outstanding child of this generation, became a member of the patrol team in high school. After graduating from high school, she did not go to college according to the family's arrangements and directly became the captain of the patrol team. Yunni seemed to want to say something to Zhang Yu, but her eyes swept to the surrounding Beilong people, and her brows furrowed slightly, and she said, alas, Beilong is now full of fishy smells, all of them look like demons and ghosts. Zhang Yu was slightly stunned, and the next moment he realized that the other party was talking about the fact that many of the current Beilong students had become demon descendants after the demon muscle modification surgery. Yunni sighed, with these inhuman and demon-like appearances, if they ran around in the school before, they would have been stabbed to death with a flying sword. How could I have imagined that this high school campus would become like this? The patrol team member next to him quickly reminded, Captain, if someone hears these words, you will be reported again. Zhang Yu understood that Yunni in front of him was a standard demon descendant discriminator. Forget it, let's not talk about these. Yunni shook her head, then looked at Zhang Yu and smiled slightly. Zhang Yu, let's talk somewhere else. Zhang Yu asked Bai Zhenjun to go first, while he followed behind Yunni. Yunni asked as she walked, Zhang Yu, have you been in contact with Song Zhu recently? Listening to Audio Nova. Fuji reminded him from the side, remember, You haven't seen Song Zhu. Originally, the surveillance in the apartment was broken. You and Bai Zhenzhen also disguise your appearances. There won't be any surveillance footage of your real faces in the nearby blocks. In addition, these cultists are very afraid of ritual backlash and are very secretive. They will never keep any information related to the evil god in their personal belongings. The patrol team definitely hasn't been able to find out any information about the evil god from them for the time being, so they won't know that Song Zhu and the others are going to deal with us. As a cautious person, Zhang Yu always prepares in advance when encountering things. Just like when selling seeds, Zhang Yu always prepares containers and tissues early. He won't be as flustered as some reckless young people when things come to a head. Regarding the inquiries that might be encountered in this incident, he naturally discussed them with Fuji and Bai Zhenzhen a long time ago. This wasn't the first time he had heard Fuji's reminder. Listening to Yunni's question at this moment, Zhang Yu said with a blank expression, Song Zhu. I know he is a top student at Beilong High School, but I don't know him and haven't spoken to him. Yunni, who was on the side, nodded slightly when she heard Zhang Yu's words, and some information about Song Zhu came to her mind. Because the process of the 6 evil god believers dying from ritual backlash was seen and even recorded by many citizens. Therefore, this incident quickly attracted the attention of the patrol team, which listed it as a suspected evil god incident. During the multifaceted data comparison process, Song Zhu was the first to be identified among the 6 dead. After all, as a top student at Beilong High School, Song Zhu's various data were the most detailed and the most mastered by the authorities. And through the investigation of Song Zhu's personal belongings such as mobile phones and computers, the organization he secretly established was also exposed to the patrol team. An organization composed of poor geniuses, aiming to break the shackles and rush to the second level. TCH, are these kinds of scams still popular now? However, Yunni didn't care about this. In her experience, the poorer people in Kongshu are, the easier they are to be deceived by the rich, just because the information gap between the two sides is too large, and these fraud cases are not under her control. As the captain of the patrol team, Yunni's biggest concern is still the evil god. However, the phenomenon of only 6 people spontaneously combusting cannot be used as the basis for an evil god incident. After all, there are many ways to achieve this effect. Moreover, no information related to the evil god was found from the various clues and things left by the deceased. As for Li Quan and the other 2 who originally lived in the apartment and were taken away by the company that day, they are currently working for the company to pay off the fines for pirated cultivation techniques. The patrol team also did not find any clues about the evil god from these 2 people. The whole incident seemed to be just a simple homicide case, which made Yunni unable to upgrade her action, authority, and use some more crude, tougher, and more divine methods. However, from the dilapidated building, the smash scene, the damaged surveillance, and other traces, Yunni felt a hint of an evil god. The reason why Yunni asked Zhang Yu in front of her was because she found Zhang Yu's information in some of the information left by Song Zhu. This guy has been collecting Zhang Yu's information recently. Is Zhang Yu the target of their group? Did they think Zhang Yu was also poor, so Song Zhu wanted to absorb him to swindle money? Maybe we can get some useful information from Zhang Yu's side. While speaking, Yunni and Zhang Yu had already arrived in an empty classroom, and the other members of the patrol team were guarding outside the classroom door. The 2 sat behind a desk each, and then Yunni opened her mouth and said, "Has Motieni contacted you?" Zhang Yu's heart skipped a beat, and Fuji had already reminded him, don't deny this. Not to mention that you don't have much to do with the Poor People's Alliance, the patrol team, and the local wealthy families in Songyang are not in the same system. They don't care about organizations like the Poor People's Alliance. Just tell the truth about your contact with Motieni. Lying in this regard will easily arouse suspicion. So Zhang Yu truthfully told about his several contacts with Motieni. After listening, Yunni's eyes flashed with a hint of disappointment. There's no useful information. Like Motieni and those poor students, they all don't know whether there is an evil god behind Song Zhu. At this moment, Zhang Yu asked with a curious expression, did something happen to them? Looking at Zhang Yu's puzzled and curious appearance, Yunni was not surprised, but she didn't mean to reveal it, and just said casually, well, they are related to a case of pirated cultivation techniques. If you remember anything about them, you can call and tell me at any time. At the same time, more relevant details of the incident flashed through Yunni's mind. It's troublesome, the valuable things at the scene have been destroyed. Almost all the surveillance in the apartment has problems. No suspicious objects were found in the surveillance footage of the surrounding streets. And the takeaway deliveryman who went to the scene, it seems that he also used a stolen mobile phone to order the takeaway. The original owner of the mobile phone is not suspicious. The more Yunni investigated, the more she found that there were very few effective clues in the whole incident, and it was almost impossible to find any elements related to the evil god. But the more this happened, the more she felt a strong feeling in her heart. If the 6 dead really died from ritual backlash, then this matter is likely to have been done by an experienced and efficient evil god believer, or there is simply a senior evil god directing it from behind. Then this is an internal struggle between evil gods. Could it be the evil god that appeared at Songyang High School? About a year ago, traces of an evil god appeared at Songyang High School. In order to track down this evil god, the patrol team spent a lot of manpower and material resources to investigate the group, companies, and families behind Songyang High School and maintain long-term surveillance. It's a pity that the evil god was like a phantom and never showed any traces again, so that many patrol team members believed that maybe the evil god just passed by here. These cockroaches in the gutter are more able to hide than the other. All kinds of thoughts flashed through her mind. Yunni looked at Zhang Yu in front of her and smiled slightly before leaving. PNPN asked me to take care of you, but I'm very poor. I don't have money to lend you. That is, I can say a few words in the patrol team. By the way, are you interested in making more progress in the patrol team? For example, becoming a formal member? Then not only will the salary increase, but the medical insurance will be fully covered. There will be food and transportation subsidies every day. There will also be tax exemptions. You can use more talismans, and you will have the opportunity to contact PNPN. Zhang Yu's eyes moved slightly, and he asked curiously, can I contact Zhang PNPN? Aren't the layers of Kongshu not easily connected? Yunni explained ordinary people certainly cannot easily cross levels to contact, but the 8 gods of justice supervise the world and control the layers of Kongshu. If they cannot contact each other, how can they communicate? How to communicate? As long as you become a formal employee under the jurisdiction of the 8 gods of justice, you can naturally use this to contact up and down. Fuji reminded him from the side what this little girl said is right. As long as you and your sister become formal employees under the jurisdiction of the God Department, then you will have the opportunity to contact across levels. In addition, there are cross-level company trades, and you can also contact across levels as relevant personnel. But becoming a formal employee under the jurisdiction of the God Department, there are too many restrictions on this road. Forget it, you have so many secrets on you. Even without Fuji's reminder, Zhang Yu kept Zhang Pianpian's reminder in mind and didn't intend to become a formal employee. He politely declined on the spot. Yunni smiled indifferently, only telling Zhang Yu that if he changed his mind, he could come to her at any time. Not long after Zhang Yu left, the patrol team members outside the door walked in. One of the young men looked at Yunni and said, "Captain, I just asked someone to check Zhang Yu's data. This guy recently bought a batch of antiques worth hundreds of thousands. The antique business is not a good investment. Like archaeology, there are too many people who want to find ancient cultivation secrets and collect information and knowledge about annihilated sects and fallen evil gods through this business. The competition inside is too fierce. I don't know how many individuals and companies are trading every day. Does a high school student understand these things? Also, I also found out that in the past 6 months, he and Bai Zhenjin have left Songyang City twice." Yunni glanced at the other party. She didn't know less about common sense such as archaeology and antiques than the other party. In particular, the top 10 sects and the companies under their jurisdiction have been collecting various information and knowledge about the sects annihilated in history. This is a very broad market, but it has nothing to do with most urban people. She also knew that in addition to investment in archaeology, many antiques would also be used to worship gods. For example, many strong people walking on the path of God will have personal shrines at home. For example, Yunni's parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandfathers, and heavenly ancestors all have their personal shrines for worship. Of course, in addition to worshipping the righteous gods, it can also be used to worship evil gods. But Zhang Pianpian's younger brother worships evil gods. Yunni shook her head. Xiong is the focus of attention of the righteous gods. The whole family, young and old, are the subject of the above review. How could they have anything to do with evil gods? A series of thoughts flashed through her mind like lightning, but Yunni didn't mean to explain, and just looked at the man, and said lightly, "Who told you to check him?" The man was slightly stunned and said, "Captain, didn't you ask him about Song Zhu? Don't you suspect that he may also have contacted evil god believers?" Yunni said coldly, "When did I tell you that I suspected him? I just asked him for some information. Don't act on your own authority under my command." Although she criticized the other party, Yunni did not take further action, because she knew that the other party's family was also a seventh-generation patrolman. In Yunni's eyes, the patrol team is like a beautifully decorated house. Although there are many walls in the house, only 2 or 3 of them are load-bearing walls. The other walls are just pretending to be load-bearing. But don't look at these walls that are not load-bearing. If you want to smash them and redecorate, it will cost a lot of money, and a lot of effort. Then Yunni asked again, when did he leave Songyang City twice? Listening to the date reported by the other party, Yunni raised her eyebrows slightly. These 2 days seem very ordinary to others, but they are very special to her, a 10th-generation patrolman. Is it the day of the high school foundation building exam? Did they go to participate in the foundation building exam? When Yunni thought of this, her first thought was that her judgment was wrong. But when she thought of Zhang Pianpian, Yunni immediately felt that it seemed possible for the other party to guide her younger brother to participate in the foundation building exam. Okay. Yunni looked at the young man and said, "Zhang Yu is also a colleague after all. Don't check him randomly if you have nothing to do in the future. Especially what happened to him leaving Songyang. Whoever doesn't want to do it can check it out." Yunni solemnly warned the several subordinates in front of her and said, "If you really find out something, I'm afraid no one in Songyang City can protect you." Yunni thought to herself, with the confidentiality level of the foundation building exam, if you continue to check what Zhang Yu went out to do, you might be poking a hornet's nest, and involving I don't know how many people. The several patrol team members on the side were slightly stunned when they heard this. They only felt that Zhang Yu had a big background. How could they lose their jobs if they checked him? No one could protect them. Just after Zhang Yu returned to his apartment, he continued to cultivate the boundless spring and autumn meditation. With the meticulous practice of the 49 movements, the longevity force continuously stimulated the repair and regrowth of every piece of flesh and blood, allowing Zhang Yu's body, which had gradually withered under cruel cultivation and drug use, to regain new life. Boundless Spring and Autumn Meditation Level 8. Although immersed in cultivation, the conversation with Yunni was not without its impact on Zhang Yu. The patrol team. Are they investigating matters related to evil gods? Yunni's attention made Zhang Yu feel even more pressure. Although Zhang Pianpian had asked her to take care of him, he didn't think she would still care for him if she discovered the secrets of the evil god within him. In order to cope with the patrol team's possible investigation, Zhang Yu could only speed up the preparation of the ritual, obtain more counter-surveillance abilities as soon as possible, and gain more ability to interfere with information. Recalling what Zhang Pianpian had said, Zhang Yu sighed sincerely in his heart. Controlling information. Mastering information asymmetry. These are essential skills for climbing up in Kengshu. The next day, as all the materials arrived, Zhang Yu took Fuqian by Zhenjun to the familiar unfinished building, preparing to begin by Zhenjun's wish ritual, as well as their detection ritual and anti-detection ritual. Inside a room in the unfinished building, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjun were arranging the ritual site according to Fuqi's instructions. Fuqi spoke eloquently. The ritual emphasizes sacrifices and scale. The better the sacrifices, the better the effect, the higher the success rate, and the less likely it is to be discovered by righteous gods. The larger the scale, the greater the ritual's range of effect and distance. In addition, there are the altar, the human divine medium, the spiritual object, the symbol of the evil god, and the incantation, all of which are the most basic elements, and none can be missing. At the same time, the room was filled with red candles. Fuqi transformed back into a ragdoll and was placed on the bronze altar. Two mobile phones with full data plans were placed on Fuqi's left and right, serving as the medium for the connection between human and God. The rented Qi spiritual root became an excellent spiritual object for preserving spiritual energy, held in Fuqi's palm. As for Fuqi herself, as the evil god's main body, she was the most excellent symbol of the evil god. In addition, 4 antiques were placed in the 4 directions of the ritual, and the incense and wish power contained within them were waiting to be extracted and used by Fuki. Taisha Yuming, shadows rise and fall, all living beings, sincerely offering incense and wish power come. With Fuki's remote taps, the antiques shattered one by one, and the invisible power released from them surged into her body. Spiritual consciousness obscured, believers wandering in delusion, truth and falsehood indistinguishable, wishes gathered in my bag, hurry, hurry, as the law commands. As strands of dark golden divine power emerged above Fuki's head, Bai Zhenjin, who was in the ritual, also stiffened, and the evil god's power poured into her body. After a long time, as the ritual ended, Bai Zhenjin slowly opened her eyes, looking curiously at her body. How is it? Jiang Yu asked. Are you okay, Zhenjin? A flash of lightning suddenly appeared in Bai Zhenjin's eyes, and then she laughed. Yuzi, is this the feeling of potential being unleashed? Is this the power that has been hidden within me, all along? Strains of electric light burst out from Bai Zhenjin's eyes, and then lightning emerged around her body. Looking at Bai Zhenjin's hair rising into the sky amidst the flashing lightning, Zhang Yu was surprised. What exactly has your potential unleashed? Bai Zhenjin opened her mouth. An electric light appeared in her mouth. It's hard to say right now. I need to do more experiments to know what's going on. As the lightning subsided, the strange phenomena emanating from Bai Zhenjin's body gradually disappeared. Bai Zhenjin planned to slowly explore the specific changes that had taken place within her body after returning. The top priority was to complete the remaining rituals. With the two of them setting up together, the detection ritual and the anti-detection ritual were performed separately next. As the ritual was completed, a series of runes flashed on Zhang Yu's back, and he felt a completely different ritual powers added to his body. Zhang Yu tried to activate the power of the detection ritual, and he felt that in the pitch-black room, a certain location suddenly flickered with light, emitting a unique attraction in his eyes, which was a surveillance camera they had brought. This surveillance camera was brought by Zhang Yu, and by Zhenjin, specifically, to test the effect of the detection ritual. So that's how it is. Zhang Yu looked at the camera, that was faintly glowing in his vision, and after trying to withdraw the power of the detection ritual, the camera disappeared into the darkness again. As long as I activate the power of the detection ritual, I can directly see the location of the camera. Then Bai Zhenjin placed the camera behind the wall, on the other side. As the two activated the detection ritual, they actually saw the camera behind the wall. After experimenting back and forth for a few minutes, Zhang Yu confirmed that once the power of the detection ritual was activated, it could help him detect cameras within a 30-meter radius, and ordinary obstacles could not block this detection. But in just a few minutes, nearly half of the detection ritual's power has been consumed. Fortunately, after this detection ritual is completed, as long as it is in a network environment, it will automatically steal power from the divine power network to recover. Calculating it, there will be about 10 minutes of detection time per day. 10 minutes didn't sound long, but Zhang Yu felt it was enough for detection. Next, the two picked up the prepared detection patches and planned to try the power of the anti-detection ritual. Zhang Yu, whose mana should have broken through 90 units, now only detected 85 units, and even after Zhang Yu continued to activate the power of the anti-detection ritual, the mana detection data reached a minimum level of 50 units. The anti-detection ritual can maintain a duration of 1 hour per day. It can hide the detection data of mana and physical strength. Zhang Yu said with satisfaction, not bad, not bad. This way I don't have to be so ostentatious in the next monthly exam. Looking at the two satisfied appearances, Fuki said proudly, how is it? I was right, wasn't I? These two rituals are of great help to you. Evil god rituals are like this. If you want to make big money in the future, want to develop in the dark tutoring industry, or even make achievements in fields such as fraud, smuggling, and business warfare, the stronger the ritual power on your body, the better. Zhang Yu knew that Fuki said these words simply because she hoped that he would assist her in continuing to improve her rank and strength, so that she could activate more rituals. Just like the 4 antiques consumed in the ritual just now, Zhang Yu strongly suspected that Fuki had inflated the demand for antiques in number, and had supplemented herself with more evil god power. But at present, this seemed to be a win-win situation, and Zhang Yu was too lazy to argue with her for the time being. Hearing Fuki's words at the moment, Zhang Yu asked, how many rituals can you maintain now? Fuki said, I can maintain a total of 10 rituals now. Deducting the wish ritual, detection ritual, and anti-detection ritual on you too. Then there are still 4 rituals that can be afforded. But you don't have to worry, the money needed to consume the remaining rituals is not cheap. You can leave them empty for the time being, and choose the rituals according to your needs in the future. Xiong Yu asked again what can be done to allow you to maintain more rituals? Fuqi smiled and said there are 2 methods, either swallow the ranks of other colleagues. Every step closer to a level 2 evil god, the more rituals I can maintain. Or steal the authority of righteous gods, but you don't have to consider this for the time being. In short, as long as my rank continues to increase, you will also be able to have stronger and stronger ritual blessings. One day you will be able to jump out of the 3 loans, not be in the 5 insurances, and live a life of cultivation, freedom, and wealth freedom. Otherwise, no matter how strong you are just cattle and horses of the top 10 sects. Next, Xiong Yu and Bai Zhenzhen packed up, and the 2 returned to the apartment near Xian High School, again. As he entered the apartment building, Xiong Yu tried to activate the detection ritual, and immediately saw the surveillance cameras inside the building. After entering the apartment room, he activated the detection ritual again. Although he and Bai Zhenzhen had checked once before, he checked it again with the power of the detection ritual, and after not seeing a camera in the room, he felt more at ease. Next, Bai Zhenzhen constantly tried the changes in her body, and gradually figured out what she could do after her potential was unleashed. Her mana carried a lightning attribute, and turned into a special mana. With the blessing of this special mana, she found that the effect of using the electric light, step, and exercising the thunder shock true body was greatly improved. Especially the process of mana circulation constantly stimulated her muscles and nervous system, which greatly improved her reaction, speed, agility, and explosiveness. In addition, she felt that if she cultivated similar techniques in the future, she would get twice the result with half the effort. Finally, Xiong Yu looked at Bai Zhenzhen, who inserted her fingers into the socket, and lightning flashed all over her body. He only heard the other party laugh, and said Yuzi, "Look, I can replenish mana by charging, and charging has a body refining effect. I can become stronger by charging in the future. When my true spiritual root adapts to this new cultivation method, the efficiency will definitely be higher." Xiong Yu first nodded slightly, but the next moment his expression suddenly changed, and he suddenly looked at his own electricity meter. Looking at the frantically rotating electricity meter, Xiong Yu quickly shouted, "Stop. Stop quickly. If you continue to cultivate like this, La Mulin might kick us out of this apartment." Bai Zhenjin reluctantly pulled her fingers out of the socket. Okay. Then I'll go to school tomorrow to steal electricity for cultivation. During the process of stealing electricity, I can just cooperate with the detection ritual to avoid cameras. The ritual was successfully completed, and Xiong Yu focused his attention on his own cultivation again. In the blink of an eye, a night passed, and with the circulation of the longevity force, Xiong Yu only felt that his body was becoming more and more pure, and the boundless spring and autumn meditation had broken through again. Boundless Spring and Autumn Meditation Level 9.